That's right.
Hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Tuesday evening, where we are diving a little bit deeper into the tech of things, and we're covering probably the two parts of the body that I feel, especially in my case, get taken the most for granted, namely our eyes and our ears, because life would be very dull and dreary if we didn't have our eyes or our ears, and we use them continuously. We also tend to abuse them continuously as well. And last week we covered a little bit about the eyes, and hopefully I'll be able to finish up this week covering a little bit more, not only on the eyes, but also on the ears, because a lot of the nutrients that we need work for both things, because the senses, believe it or not, work in a similar way. Obviously, the eyes pick up light and the ears pick up sound, but the sensory organs are all more or less connected, because I think you're not really going to get much with one without the other. So let me share my screen. Obviously, there are the exceptions, and some people are born deaf and blind, and I have great admiration for them, because that must be a horrible, horrible life to live. But one person who we know worked through that and actually made life a lot more pleasant for a lot of people through working through her challenges. Let me get onto my share over here. Ah, come on. So it keeps jumping where it's not supposed to be. And okay, as I said last week, we're titling this, I Can See Clearly Now. And it's really the importance of both eye and ear nutrition. And we covered quite a few things last week, including vitamin A and beta-carotene and the carotenoids. And now we're going to continue on with the next part. And that would be vitamin C. Your eyes require high amounts of antioxidants, more so than many other organs. And vitamin C being a water-soluble antioxidant, and the eyes essentially being two bulbs of jelly covered in fluid, which is your tears. That is obviously all the watery parts, and that leaves antioxidants. The antioxidant vitamin C appears to be especially important, although controlled studies on its role in eye health are lacking. Sadly, a lot of nutrients and nutrition research is lacking, because obviously there's not a lot of money in there, because you can't patent vitamin C or food. Unless it's genetically modified, you cannot patent food. Therefore, you cannot make money out of it. And sadly, in today's world, that is the more important part in a lot of big companies' focus, not the health aspects, but rather how much profit they can make. And the concentration of vitamin C is higher in the aqueous humor of the eye than in any other body fluid. The aqueous humor is the liquid that fills the outermost part of the eye. So I don't expect you to go and touch your eye, but it's that wet part on the outside of your eye. The levels of vitamin C in the aqueous humor are directly proportional to its dietary intake. In other words, you can increase its concentration by taking supplements or eating foods rich in vitamin C. Sounds so simple, but do we actually do it? Observational studies show that people with cataracts tend to have a low antioxidant status. They also indicate that people who take vitamin C supplements are less likely to get cataracts. And maybe one day I'll put that to the test by taking extra vitamin C for a while. But so far, I've been quite blessed not to have any issues with cataracts that I'm aware of. While vitamin C appears to play a protective role in your eyes, pardon me, it's unclear whether supplements provide added benefits for those who aren't deficient. High amounts of vitamin C are found in many fruits and vegetables, including bell peppers, citrus fruits, guavas, kale, and broccoli. And how many of those things do you eat on a daily basis? Next fun one is vitamin E. Vitamin E is a group of fat-soluble antioxidants that protect fatty acids from harmful oxidation. Remember, vitamin E is not just a vitamin E. It is comprised of 8 different parts, 4 tocopherols and 4 tocotrienols. And since your retina has a high concentration of fatty acids, adequate vitamin E intake is important for optimal eye health. Remember, we spoke last week about the omega-3 fatty acids and how important they were, but they are fatty acids, and fat can oxidize. And we all know that when that happens, we need to provide an antioxidant, and vitamin E is that fat-soluble antioxidant. Although severe vitamin E deficiency may lead to retinal degeneration and blindness, it's unclear whether supplements provide any additional benefits if you're already getting enough from your diet. Again, not sufficient research is done in these areas, mostly due to financial constraints. One analysis suggests that consuming more than 7 milligrams of vitamin E daily may reduce your risk of age-related cataracts by 6%. In the greater scheme of things, not much, but every 1% that I can save my eyes, I will take very gladly. In contrast, randomized controlled studies indicate that vitamin E supplements do not slow or prevent the progression of cataracts. The best dietary sources of vitamin E include almonds, sunflower seeds, and vegetable oils like flaxseed oil. So while vitamin E may not slow or prevent progression of cataracts, your carotenoid complex certainly can, as does flavonoid complex. The next one is zinc. Now, your eyes contain high levels of zinc. Zinc is a very important mineral that is often lacking in our system. Zinc is a part of many essential enzymes, including the superoxide dismutase, which functions as an antioxidant. So if your zinc levels are low, then these enzymes are not able to operate correctly, and therefore your antioxidant levels will be much lower. It also appears to be involved in the formation of visual pigments in your retina. For this reason, zinc deficiency may lead to night blindness, just like vitamin A. In one study, pardon me, older adults with early macular degeneration were given zinc supplements. Their macular degeneration slowed and they maintained their visual sharpness better than those who received the placebo. That I found very interesting because you wouldn't really expect that from a mineral. However, further studies are needed before strong conclusions can be reached. Natural dietary sources of zinc include oysters, meat, pumpkin seeds, and peanuts. Now, people with allergies to seafoods, specifically shellfish and peanuts, are going to end up with big problems because they're quite probably not going to get a good enough intake of zinc. So the bottom line, healthy lifestyle habits, such as a wholesome diet and regular exercise, may help prevent many chronic diseases, including eye conditions. Getting enough of the nutrients listed above may help reduce your risk. And other vitamins may also play a role in eye health. However, don't neglect the rest of your body. Our body is made up of more than just eyes and ears and mouth and hair. It's a whole conglomeration of things. A diet that keeps your whole body healthy will keep your eyes healthy too. Here we get onto the ear part. Nutrition is fundamental to health, but seldom does one learn about the relationship between diet and the auditory system. Nutrition and hearing ability are in fact connected. There is no specific food that will definitely cause or prevent hearing loss. Likewise, lost hearing cannot be restored through a diet change alone. However, new research suggests that certain nutrition patterns may actually decrease or increase your risk of developing hearing loss. And that's just one of the things, because other factors obviously include these sort of things in your ears constantly. And we see these kids a lot of the time walking around with cans over their ears, and that is also causing big problems. Oops. I just lost my lighting over there. The food we eat directly affects our overall well-being, including our hearing health. Eating a balanced diet, rich in vital nutrients, can prevent potential damage and boost our ear health. According to studies, eating a diet rich in vegetables and fruits can lower the risk of hearing loss by 30%. That's quite substantial. Potassium, zinc, folic acid, and magnesium are 4 very important minerals linked to improved hearing health. Making sure you include vegetables and fruits in your daily diet can do wonders for your hearing. Why would diet impact hearing? We think of loud noises and that kind of thing. There are several theories why a healthier diet may protect against hearing loss. Much of it related to our overall cardiac health, and this is according to Dr. Curran, who said a healthy diet is linked to a lower risk of heart disease and conditions that inflame or damage the arteries and veins, such as diabetes. And inside your ear are some very, very delicate little organisms that require very good circulation and a good supply of oxygen. Just as with overall health, blood flow to the ears is very important for healthy hearing. The inner ear, which is responsible for detecting sound, is especially vulnerable to changes in oxygen levels, inflammation, and blood pressure, for example. And inside your ear, so you've got your outer ear, which is essentially a cup to catch the sound, and then it filters it down this little funnel, which is your hearing channel, onto your tympanic membrane, which is like a drum skin. If you've ever looked at a set of drums, essentially that is what's happening inside your ear. So you've got this noise rattling along outside, comes rattling down through the little channel and reverberates onto the tympanic membrane, which vibrates, which sends those vibrations through fluid and into the couple of little bones that make up the inside of the ear. And we're talking minuscule little bones on the inside of the ear, which then sends those signals through to the brain, which converts them into what you're hearing me droning on about, which is sound. A healthy diet can also be an important source of antioxidants, which help protect against damage from oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is linked to cell damage. Curran also said that many fruits and vegetables provide essential antioxidant vitamins and minerals that our bodies cannot make on their own. So, top foods we need to consume and also those to avoid. So we'll start off with the good ones, which is we need to consume more of vitamin B12, which is contained in meat, eggs, poultry, dairy products, and other foods from animals. Strict vegetarians and vegans are at high risk for developing a B12 deficiency, which can affect your balance, amongst other things, because once again, our ears are not just for hearing, they also play a very important role in our balance. And this is especially important for those who suffer from conditions called like tinnitus and balance disorder. The next one is folic acid, folate or vitamin B9, which is found in spinach, bok choy, romaine, asparagus, turnip greens, broccoli, and beans, especially lentils, garbanzo beans. Folate has been shown to improve tinnitus, as well as, or tinnitus if you want to pronounce it differently, as well as sudden and age-related hearing loss. Although more testing is needed, folate helps increase circulation, improving blood flow to the inner ear. Omega-3 is found in many fish, most notably in salmon, walnuts, and flax, as well as chia seeds. And in a 2014 study showed that regular consumption of fish, as in 2 or more servings per week, was associated with a lower risk of hearing loss in women. How many servings of fish have you had this week or last week? Magnesium is another one, and this is included in fruits and veggies, which is bananas, artichokes, potatoes, spinach, tomatoes, and broccoli. Magnesium helps combat free radicals and acts as a protective barrier for the delicate hair cells in the inner ear. The University of Michigan researchers found that this nutrient, combined with vitamins A, C, and E, helps prevent noise-induced hearing loss by blocking the creation of free radicals. Obviously, it's always a good idea to protect your ears with these ear protectors and noise-cancelling headphones, etc. But by having the correct nutrition, you're hitting it from both sides. Zinc, which is found in protein-rich foods like oysters, grass-fed beef, pumpkin seeds, tahini, which is ground sesame seeds, cashews, almonds, spinach, and dark chocolate. Zinc is shown to improve sudden sensorineural hearing, sensorineural hearing loss. Sorry, big words, SSNHL, which is a sudden, unexplained loss of hearing. Imagine 1 second you are listening to an orchestra playing, and the next second you're going, who turned the sound off? That's what this is referring to. Now, zinc boosts the body's immune system and is also responsible for cell growth and healing. So it's potentially helpful in warding off ear infections. Some studies suggest it's also effective in treating tinnitus in individuals with normal hearing. And that makes me wonder if my zinc intake as a child was lower than what it should have been, because apparently with every tooth I cut, and I do remember at other stages, I often used to have middle ear infection for various reasons, and it would be a case of off to the doctor, get antibiotics, and have a course of antibiotics, and off you go. The next time you have a cold or flu, you end up with a middle ear infection. I know there was talks of me having grommets inserted at some stage. Fortunately, that never happened. Potassium is found in, amongst other things, potatoes, spinach, lima beans, tomatoes, raisins, melons, etc., yogurt, and low-fat milk. Potassium is responsible for regulating the amount of fluid in your body and body tissue. And that's important to your hearing health because fluid in the inner ear is dependent upon a rich supply of potassium, especially in that part of the ear that translates the noises we hear into electrical impulses the brain interprets as sound. The things that we need to avoid or consume less of include things such as vegetable oils, as they contain too many omega-6 fatty acids. Instead, use EVOO or canola oil, which are rich in omega-3s. And my suggestion over here, personal opinion, is try even to limit those ones and stick rather to things like olive oil, which I believe is even better. Margarine or partially hydrogenated oils, which is found mostly in processed foods, stay away from it because it's really not good for you. High-fat meats, especially those treated with nitrates or nitrites, which are the preservatives, And these would be your processed meats. And also, I know fortunately over here, most of the meat we get is grass-fed, so it's free range. There are some places, specifically around big cities and overseas, where they're getting almost like battery chickens. They get these concentrated meat factories, for want of any better terminology. And they are treated with all sorts of horrible nasties, and this can lead to issues. They're saying we need to avoid or consume less of whole or 2% milk. And I do agree, having 3 liters of milk a day is not a good idea. Having a little bit of milk in your cereal or in your tea or coffee is probably quite fine. Rather use a dairy substitute though, such as almond, rice, or coconut milk. Cream cheese we need to avoid and rather replace it with goat cheese or part skim organic ricotta. Processed cheeses such as American cheese, opt for rather organic or grass-fed hard cheese. In my opinion, in all cases, look for organic because the less ingredients a food has and the more pure a food is, better and healthier it is for you. Obviously, we need to stay away from and definitely consume less sugar and artificial sweeteners. We need to limit these or replace them with things like stevia, honey, specifically, again, organic honey, and try not to get one that's too filtered, or real maple syrup. You can also use xylitol as an alternative because xylitol and stevia are quite similar. Refined carbohydrates, and these include things like white breads, white pasta, and any foods containing enriched flour, which means nutrients have been removed from the grain. So they enrich it by taking away 13 or more vitamins and minerals and replacing them with 9 synthetic vitamins and minerals and telling you it's enriched. Sodium. We need it in small quantities, but you should maintain a higher ratio of potassium to sodium. Packaged and processed foods have way too much sodium, sodium being salt. Chemicals and pesticides obviously is a good one, so wash your produce. Buy organic when you can, but remember, organic produce still has pesticides. The main difference is organic produce, pesticides are sprayed on the outside of the plant. Non-organic is usually systemic, means that it's in the ground and your plant absorbs it, which is really not a good thing to have. At least if it's on the outside of the plant, it can be peeled or washed off. You can check out a list of the EWG, which is Environmental Work Group's latest Dirty Dozen and Clean 15. Go onto their website and have a look and see what is recommended. And they will show you which of the Dirty Dozen. This is the produce with the highest pesticide residue, as well as the Clean 15 with the lowest. Regardless of clean or dirty, wash it with a organic, biodegradable, non-toxic detergent, and that will make your life a lot healthier. As a general rule for foods to avoid, eat food the way it was meant to be eaten. As I said just now, single ingredient, as organic as possible. Food doesn't grow in a box, so why are we buying it that way? Use herbs instead of heavy sauces and creams for added flavor. I make up my own gravies and sauces. So what are we turning down the sound for? The ear is a complex organ that has a very important job, turning the sounds around us into nerve impulses that the brain can interpret. The outside of the ear catches the sound, that's this part, and directs it to the eardrum, which causes vibrations, very much going down a funnel. And this is where your ye olde hearing aids, which was an ear funnel, came from. It was essentially an extension of the ear. These vibrations are conducted into the inner ear, which moves sound through fluid that is lined with specialized nerve cells called hair cells, which are sensitive to movement. Which is why if those hairs are flattened, think of a field of wheat which has been flattened by a UFO or a tornado or something along those lines, and you'll get a better idea of what those little hairs inside your ear look like. Electrical impulses generated in the inner ear travel up your auditory nerve to your brain for translation. Our ear is a beautifully designed instrument, but aging and environmental damage can cause the structures inside the ear to gradually deteriorate, reducing our ability to pick up sounds. Over 36 million American adults report some form of hearing loss, and hearing loss is one of the most common conditions affecting older adults. The causes include environmental damage, which according to the World Health Organization, 1.1 billion people worldwide are at risk for hearing loss due to serious threat posed by exposure to recreational noise. Think music concerts. And the implications of hearing loss are much greater than most people think. In a 2013 study, scientists backed the overall cognitive abilities, including concentration, memory, and planning skills of nearly 2,000 older adults. After 6 years, those who began the study with hearing loss severe enough to interfere with conversation were 24% more likely than those with normal hearing to see their cognitive abilities diminish. Essentially, the researchers stated, hearing loss seemed to speed up age-related cognitive decline. What a scary thought. If you are one of the 26 million Americans impacted by noise-induced hearing loss, which is NIHL, or one of the 25 million Americans with chronic tinnitus or ringing in the ears, you understand the debilitating impact on your hearing and quality of life, which is where one of the self-defense things comes in. Somebody's attacking you from the front, box their ears, smack them with an open palm on the ears, which causes a lot of dizziness, and they tend to forget about trying to attack you. And rumor has it that is what happened to Thomas Edison, where one of his teachers boxed his ears when he was a child and led to his deafness. NIHL can be caused by a one-time exposure to an intense impulse sound, such as an explosion, or by continuous exposure to loud sounds over an extended period of time, such as generated in a mine or manufacturing plant. Recreational activities such as target shooting and hunting, motorcycle racing, and attending loud concerts can also put you at risk for NIHL. Experts are especially concerned with the dramatic increase in the level of noise children are exposed to in the age of iPods. Sound is measured in units called decibels, and exposure to high decibel sound damages hearing by damaging hair cells. When exposed to loud noise, hair cells release a burst of oxidative stress, causes their eventual death. Just to put it into perspective, the humming of a refrigerator is 45 decibels. Normal conversation, like what we're doing now, is around about 60 decibels. City traffic will give you about 85 decibels. Motorcycles about 95. An MP3 player at maximum volume, 105 decibels. Sirens is 120. Firecrackers and firearms is 150. And I think I'm going to stop it there, just because we've only got about 6 minutes left. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself over here. So I'm going to stop sharing. Does anybody have any questions or comments before I stop recording and go open mic?
Yeah. Sean, I've been suffering with vertigo since December. I've had vertigo.
Ouch.
And I've had it really bad. So when I go to bed, I can only lie on one side. And if I get up, I have to get up, put my head between my knees, and then slowly but surely get up. Now, that's been since December. amazingly, I went to a doctor, I went to chiropractors, they did all that head thing, and they put me onto Circ and all sorts of things. Nothing helped. Nothing. I tried all the vitamins, nothing helped. I flew to Dubai. By the time when I got to Dubai, that first night, I had the most beautiful sleep. I had no more vertigo.
Air pressure.
So, yeah, they say that vertigo is in the middle ear.
Correct.
So there was nothing they could do. And if it hadn't gone, by the time I got back, I had to go and have an operation and I think have grommets or something put in.
Correct.
But just by going on the plane, it sorted it out.
Nice.
Yeah,
So next time you're having a hearing problem, go for a flight.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. Thanks.
Very interesting. I must tell my doctor. I haven't told him yet.
Yes. They have to book his
Yeah.
patients on flights to Dubai.
That's right.
All right. Excellent.
Yeah.